Welcome to Ear Biscuits. I'm Rhett.
And I'm Link.
Yeah, you gotta hit that consonant.
Yeah, this morning we do.
Oh,
What? What are you clicking for?
You gonna tell them that it's the morning again?
Well, yeah, I can just look at your face. I can't, there's no denying it. I guess
now that
people are listening to your face.
But now that we've done one Ear Biscuit in the morning, I think at this point we should just make people guess by looking at the face.
Maybe I'm faking it. Maybe I'm throwing them for a loop.
Yeah, I can have morning face at night. I've done that before. It's nap. It's nap
face. This week at the round table of dim lighting, we're gonna share some personal experiences. I think there might be some deep introspection. I think we're at risk of there being a point where this gets sad based on something I've got inside my own heart, okay?
Oh gosh.
Here's the deal.
Yeah, you're already using the word heart.
You're
not talking about the anatomy, you're talking about it in the emotional sense.
I know, I'm just warning you people.
Because technically your heart doesn't actually hold any thoughts. I mean, it's just a muscle that pumps your blood. I mean, I hate to burst your bubbles for everybody, but I mean, that's all happening in your freaking brain.
And anatomically speaking, I don't have a bubble to burst, so burst all you want.
I just gotta maintain the balance here.
You mean making light of the fact that I said I'm gonna cry?
No, listen, man, I mean, I know what we're talking about, so I might cry. No, we're not gonna cry.
Okay.
I mean, you never know what's gonna happen.
Here's the deal.
Face.
As of this current conversation, the moment of recording this, I am 39 years old. As of the initial release of this podcast in its audio form, I am 39 years old. But as of June 1st, 2018, I become 40. And I've already celebrated in a huge way, in party form. And I want to tell you all about that party. And then I want to transition into just an analysis of our own aging. Because, buddy, I'm joining you in the boat, in the 40 boat.
I'm about to get out.
What, did you just burn yourself on tea? You're like an old man, see?
Yeah, I can't even drink tea anymore.
You gotta put an ice cube in your tea.
I feel like Jim Baker eating potato soup, which incidentally, I watched a crap ton of last night.
Oh, you did?
Because RuPaul actually posted the very best of Jim Baker. It was a compilation on Twitter.
On Twitter?
But it was a YouTube video. And I just sat
Did RuPaul edit this thing?
No,
I don't think RuPaul has time to.
It was a super deluxe video. And it was not
okay.
I mean, it was one that I had seen all the pieces before, but it was the very best. And it included that, that's good moment.
Which we put in the episode where we tasted the Jim Baker buckets, right?
Yeah, we did. Oh, man.
Is that why you got such nap face this morning? Because you stayed up late watching the Jim Baker bucket?
It's only a 16-minute clip. So no. I
love the internet, man.
I've already been to the gym. I've been in a steam room with several other naked fellas.
Okay.
I mean, I'm up, man. It's just my face, I guess my face, you know what? I think maybe in the same way that there were people you saw as well, comment on the internet when you asked, let us know what you think about us recording in the morning. A lot of people are like, I can definitely notice it's different. Well, I doubt that they can notice it's different. That's my personal opinion is we suggested that it was different and then
it's the power of suggestion.
And then they started to think that they were picking up on different things. I think that my morning face is, if it was 11 p.m. right now, you'd be like, you look tired, man.
You just woke up?
And if it was the middle of the day, you'd be like, you look normal. That's my theory.
Hold on, I thought you were gonna say in the middle of the day, I was gonna say you look tired.
No, middle of the day, I would be what you expect, which is middle of the day face, which is just normal.
So your peak Rhett face at noon is what you're saying?
I'm saying it's always the same.
That's not what I heard, but
I'm saying it right now, having been through the things that I've been through today, I can't imagine
you should have peak face.
That I still have what you would consider morning face.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours ago, I definitely had morning face, but I got steam face now.
Oh, well, I guess they're easily mistaken for one another. I mean, do I look like I have nap face?
No, because I don't let the power of suggestion and the environment influence my opinions. I'm a perfectly rational being.
Not even your own suggestion? I don't mean to insult you, Ear Biscuiteer listener, but I do feel like when we said that in I guess it was the last episode talking about in the morning. Was that the last one? Whenever it was, it doesn't matter. We were just kind of planting something so that then you could feel like you were noticing something. I mean.
3 ago?
3 ago.
3 ago, wow.
Wow,
okay.
we're still waking up.
What have we been doing? Steam rooming.
There's an art to entertainment where you can plant something in a video that people will feel smart for noticing and then commenting on, but really we're the smart ones for putting it in the video.
We're the smart ones. Let's establish that.
We wanted you to talk about how different it was in the morning if you thought that it was better.
Okay, I'm sure it was different.
I'm just being facetious.
Let me backtrack a little bit.
I don't want to hurt your feelings.
I'm sure it was different, but
I'm getting old and crotchety.
At least a percentage.
I'm almost 40.
At least a percentage of you definitely said something just because we gave you the opportunity to say it.
And that's a good thing.
But that's how the world works, man.
We're pulling the curtain back. You're seeing our bare bottoms in the hospital. That's not a curtain. Well, there is a curtain, and then there's a
gown.
A gown. We're pulling the gown back because we don't hold anything back from you because that's the new me. That's the middle-aged me. We can get into this, but I mean, 40's not the middle of my age. I aspire.
Well, statistically,
yeah.
Speaking, it probably is.
I'm not gonna statistically live past 80?
What is the average life expectancy of 80. A man in America? Could somebody look that up? I would guess that it is
86.
No, I would say 82 max.
Ooh.
And I would say probably 79. I think maybe a woman is 82.
If it's less than 80, lie.
No, don't lie, tell us the truth.
78.74.
78, oh dang, I said 79. That's 78 points, what? 78.74.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, look, dude.
I've already passed middle age. I didn't even know it.
Yeah, you're past.
I did that a year ago.
Exactly. That's why they call it over the hill, man. Now, I do think it means something different. But
this is what I want to get into. Let's not get into it yet.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about getting old.
Let's start.
Buckle up.
Let's start with the party, man, because I feel like I owe it to you to give a complete play-by-play of my party because A, we did that with your party, Rhett.
Yeah.
And B, you weren't invited. So this is my way of including you even though you weren't invited. Or you know what, maybe you're one of the people that was invited and you'll know when I'm lying about something, embellishing to make my party seem good. Of course, you're here for that.
I'm here for that. I need a t-shirt that says that.
Thanks for coming to my party, Rhett.
Oh, you're welcome.
When you walked in, I was so relieved.
Yeah,
that you showed up.
I almost didn't come.
You thinking about it?
Last minute, we were like, should we?
What were you thinking about doing?
I was gonna watch Apollo 13.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
I was like, it's,
You know you're gonna get a good satisfying experience, but with a party, you're like, do you experience anxiety when going to a party like anybody's party? I always have a tinge of anxiety when I go into, maybe it's just any sort of social.
I experience this, I think I experience a tinge of anxiety if I'm in any environment that is not 100% familiar to me.
Okay, it's good that you're admitting that. I'm just joking. Okay, Christy turned 40 on May 13th. There's a 2-week gap there where she's older than me. I mean, she's always constantly older than me, and I do point that out to her in strategic moments. Older women make beautiful lovers is the country song. Mm-hmm. It's a good country song. But never is it more obvious in the 2 weeks when she's 40 and I'm not.
Right.
And we planned our party smack dab in the middle, and I mean, we had to, in planning the party, we really had to run interference with what you did. You know, I think we talked about this in terms of like, you had a grand party, man.
Set the bar real high.
You set the bar really high. And honestly, I had multiple conversations with Christy in the privacy of our own zone where I was like, let's not have a party.
Yep.
Like, and it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't like, I don't think I can top Rhett's party. I mean, Christy did say something like that. Don't compare, you don't have to think like that. You don't have to compare our party to Rhett's party. It's a good party, but it's just not a healthy path
but
to
you
go
were
down.
you were gonna let that keep you from having a party?
No, it was just one factor. I think.
I mean, I did have probably the greatest birthday party ever. I mean, but that shouldn't stop you from trying.
In general, I mean, even like I said, even going to a party, there's like a level of anxiety that maybe most people will experience. Like, what's this gonna be like stepping into this thing? But then when you're in charge of it, I mean, it seems like there's more pressure. It certainly didn't take any pressure away to have experienced your party. But Chrissy really wanted a party, and I came around, I was more than happy to be a part of it. I was like, but I want there to be something. I wanted there to be an activity. So we ultimately decided that we were gonna have a bowling party.
Yeah.
And we found this amazing venue, the oldest bowling alley in the city of Los Angeles, which is one of the oldest cities in the world. I don't know if you knew that. No.
I did not know that.
The second part, I don't know, I need to wiki that.
Yeah, I'm pretty
But the first part is to Highland Park Bowl, super cool venue, right? Like we had never been there, but we visited in order to see.
I could describe the place just so you don't seem like a braggy daddy.
Okay, yeah, well I didn't build it. I didn't renovate it.
But this place it
is the oldest bowling alley in LA.
Very, very, very cool. And like stepping into a bowling alley from a time gone by. So like you got this like
Prohibition era.
You like walk in and there's a bar on each side, and then there's the lanes, and they're doing a lot of things to kind of establish the vibe.
Right.
This is a hipster bowling place, very cool place. Yeah. All the bowling balls are black. There's no pink balls here, no blue balls either. It's just all black balls, which
it was an aesthetic choice, not a functional.
Makes it a little difficult to remember which ball is yours. But it's worth the cool factor.
Well, and the lanes not only look amazingly vintage, but then the whole place 91 years old, built in 1927.
The mechanism.
The mechanism in the very back, when you bowl and knock down the pins, and then the mechanism, the robot thingy, picks up the pins, sorts them all out, and puts them back down.
It looks
and
like
sucks
a
the ball up.
steampunk.
It's all
like a steampunk set. Whoa, gosh, I'm knocking over my water.
It's all exposed, so you can see the inner workings of it. Nothing's covered.
Do we have a napkin? I don't want.
Use your sleeve.
I don't want Lee Newton's signature to go away.
Here, use that right there.
Or Lindsey Sterling.
Oh, I was gonna let you use my jacket sleeve. So anyway, yeah, it was a super cool place. They have a pizza oven. So they're like making some good pizzas.
Oh, the food was incredible.
And just as our book dictated, there will be meatballs at the party. Well, there was meatballs at the party.
Was that a special request because of our book, or that's something they do?
It's something they offer. And they were like, we can have meatballs. I was like, there will be meatballs.
There's spicy meatballs. They were so big though, I don't think we could have played hide the meatball. I didn't even think about playing hide the meatball because I was throwing the bowling balls.
I actually didn't get to eat a meatball. I mean, so there was like, I don't know, maybe 120 of our friends, and the Mythical crew members were also there, who I consider friends in the party zone, not coworkers.
Oh, friends in the party zone.
And then Chrissy and I are mingling.
Lionel Richie showed up.
Yeah, you said I should get Lionel Richie, but we didn't do that. We had a DJ and I made a playlist which I steered clear of yacht rock, even though that is one of my favorite genres of music, because you had the gold standard of yacht rock cover bands at your party.
So what did you?
I had to steer clear of that.
What did you play?
It was late 70s, early 80s, so around the time that we were born, soul and funk music. But the bowling alley's so loud that it just kind of all blends together.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
it didn't register really.
I didn't want the music too loud so that you couldn't talk with your people. You know?
Did the DJ feel emasculated by
that
request?
I paid him, so he can feel any way he wants to feel.
No, but I think DJs get off on
being the center.
Playing the music so loud that you cannot have a meaningful conversation with anyone there.
I couldn't tell and I didn't care. He did a great job, and I don't think he was upset. So it was a cool spot. Chrissy and I had matching bowling shirts. I don't know if you noticed.
I did it with your names on them.
And of course, we also have matching bowling shirts from when we did the fire bowling, but you wore yours.
Well, I mean, of course I have to wear it.
Jessie could have worn mine, and you could have.
Jessie got her own.
She got her own.
She went off on her own and got her own bowling shirt.
In the back, we tried really hard to find something to put on the back of the shirt for me and Christy, and we landed on striking while we're still hot.
Where'd you get that?
I think that Jessie came up with
My
it.
wife did.
Because I was like,
she's very good.
She loves that.
She's like,
yeah, there was a text thread.
She's really good at slogans.
Let's see, because I wanted it to be something that was lame. Like, Bowlver the Hill, I think is what I came up with.
Right.
A combination of bowling and over the hill, if it's not clear. Chrissy didn't like that. So
they did well.
Striking while we're still hot.
They didn't want to focus on
and it was a bowling ball and there was flames.
The back end of the hill, they wanted to focus on the fact that
we're still good looking.
Yeah.
And then I requested that Christy's shirt also have, you know, the silhouette of the women that are on the mud flaps of rigs.
Of course, I've got.
I wanted her
on the back of my sedan.
I wanted her to put those on the collar,
with a pair of truck nuts.
the lapel of her bowling shirt. And when she nixed that idea, I put it on my bowling shirt because I wanted it to represent her on her own shirt, and I was gonna have the man version on my own. And when we started looking into the man version of mud flap silhouettes, it's very problematic.
Right, because what can you emphasize?
Right, so I have the woman on mine, and then we had our names embroidered.
I noticed
mine said Link.
I noticed the woman. I didn't ask any questions about it.
It's Christy. It's Christy's silhouette. She's still hot, and my name said Link, and underneath it said 40 years old. Because I'm like, I'm gonna own this. Christy also didn't want hers to say 40 years old, but it said 40 on the lapel. These are the type of things that you get into, the minutia of planning a party, and that's when I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so much. There's so much effort and planning and details, and then it's very overwhelming for me. I think the thing that I learned was it was a great party, and I feel like I would have had so much more fun if everything was the exact same except it being my party. I think that's my problem is
I understand that
I feel like I told Chrissy somewhere in the middle because we're like mingling and talking with everybody. I'm like, man, it feels like a wedding reception. I'm like not getting to eat anything and I'm like talking to everybody and it's, you know, it's becoming a blur. Whereas if you just attend a party, mission number one is just to have fun, you know? But when you're in charge of it, mission number one is that, at least in my mind, and I couldn't check out from this, is making sure everybody else was having fun. And who am I kidding? They were. It wasn't up to me. I mean, you set the stage and then, hey, we're freaking bowling in this amazing place. Well, you got pizza and you got bowling shirts.
I think, I don't know when this happened. Definitely in the past like 2 years, I've experienced a shift in recognizing that I enjoy creating experiences for people.
Okay.
And while I completely relate to what you were saying, it's difficult to enjoy anything that it's difficult to enjoy a meal that you cooked. As someone who prepares, you know, I'll have like a bunch of people over and like do a pork butt or something, and I enjoy food more if I go to a restaurant than if I make it for myself and for other people. But I kind of shifted to like, oh, all these people are enjoying this, and then you take a little bit of the pressure off yourself. So I think that
you think
like
you're becoming
party,
more of a host.
My party, when people kept coming up and saying they were having a good time, I was having a good time, even though I was anxious about when things are happening and that kind of thing. And then like the game night that we've been doing.
Yeah.
which I legitimately been having a lot of fun personally, but the fact that people are enjoying it, I'm enjoying that vicariously. I think that's the key to not being anxious about something that at your own party is like, because everybody did have a really good time. I almost had a great time because I almost was on the winning bowling team.
Oh, you giving it away, you lost. Yeah. Well, we had a bowling tournament and Chrissy said, okay, we're gonna hop on the mics and you can orient people to how this bowling tournament's gonna go. I'm like, well, that means we need to make a speech. She's like, I'll talk first and then you can do that. I'm like, well, I gotta have my speech. So like I worked up a speech that, I don't know if you could tell by the execution of my speech, but I effed it up, man.
Well, here's what I'll say. When you, in the middle, you were talking and you were like talking about the bowling rules or something, the way the tournament was gonna work. And then there was a pause that was a little longer than I was comfortable with. And then you were like, F what they say about being 40.
Yeah.
And I was like, and what I thought was, Link's got something here. Yeah. Like I know how your brain works, and so I was like,
right. He's going into.
He's got something. He's prepared something, but then
he was trying to access something that he had prepared, but then it fizzled.
Then you just had like another sentence, and it
fizzled,
was over.
and it turned. Like, okay. I mean, it turned into a heartfelt thanks to all of my friends for being there. But here's what I wanted to do. I want to say, okay, I'm gonna start by saying something that's gonna get everybody's attention. Be like, what the heck? And this was it. I was gonna say, I don't give a flying F what people say about 40. And then I was gonna say, I can't even remember it right now. I should have had it on a card. You know you can't have it on a card. I don't give a flying F what people say about 40. I think 40 is fabulous when you're fortunate enough to have friends like these. See the F's?
Yeah, alliteration.
And then I was just gonna leave it at that.
Oh, that was all it was
That was
be?
it.
Okay.
That was it.
Right, okay.
I had planned just that and I was gonna leave it at that because you know me, I ramble and and things start to fall apart. The worst example of that was my wedding rehearsal dinner that, you know, we constantly make fun of me for, which I deserve it, which is I went around and started thanking every single person that attended my
personally
wedding.
They all got like a 2-minute speech.
Which was literally, I mean.
2 times 60 is 120.
Yeah.
It was 2 hours.
I mean, it might've been a 90-minute speech. Because once I got into it, I couldn't back out. And I'm like, I'm not gonna make that mistake. I'm gonna have something quick and it's gonna be about F's.
Okay, all right, yeah.
And then I blew it.
Well,
and it doesn't matter.
I don't think anybody other than me knew that you had something that you didn't fully hatch.
Yeah. Yeah, the egg cracked on the floor. But I scraped it up and no one else cared. That's the thing, is like you start to focus on things that don't matter that much. I don't think throwing parties is for me, man. Just for my personal enjoyment. Well, next time you should plan my parties.
But I think it's just a shift in it's just a shift.
Mentality.
Because, well,
I mean, if I threw more parties.
Said it, but you just said it. You just said that I would have more fun if this was not my party. And what is the thing that you're anxious about? How good of a time who's having? You or the people who are there?
The people.
But the default disposition of a person who's at a party is enjoyment, especially a good party. So if you put the ingredients in place and then it just starts happening, you look around and you're like, these people are having a good time. I'm gonna enjoy that. I have been thinking about this actually quite a bit. I've been thinking about what other things could I engineer, like other experiences could I engineer for groups of people? Maybe I should become
a tour guide.
Because I've been thinking about doing something special with like the game night.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can't do a party like we did last year, but like, neither of us have ever thrown parties. I haven't had a birthday party.
I think the thing that you're on
in
to
years.
I think the thing that you're on to
because of last year, I'm like, I want to do this again.
And with it's more about here's the thing about my personality type that's different from yours is I'm a perfectionist. So I'm constantly thinking, not is this great, but I have in my mind what is the perfect party that I've planned, right? So when it's, okay, for the last round of the tournament, like when the last two teams are bowling and everyone, I want everyone else to gather around, and when the person's going to bowl, I'm gonna get the DJ to kill the music. And it's gonna be comedically dramatic for these amateur bowlers to feel like they're in a freaking bowling tournament. That will be funny. And it will also be fun for everybody to be focused on it. But then, when the party goes along and the freaking DJ's packing up and it's like, okay, that can't happen. You know, these are the things that start to go off in my mind as a perfectionist that I think is healthy for me to come to grips with, of course. And maybe that does mean throwing more parties.
But and
of course, no one
knew
but
that
me.
That's what you wanted.
Right, so it didn't bum me out actively, but subconsciously, as a perfectionist, these things tend to stick in your
If you can find
craw.
a way to take a mental note, next time I have a bowling birthday party, I'll do it in a way so that we make sure that the tournament is still going when everybody's still there. But
right,
I'm not gonna not enjoy this first one.
I didn't. I enjoyed it as much as I could at this point in my life. But when I'm 50, I will enjoy it even more. A couple of other side notes. We also planned the party on a Sunday night. I think spare no expense to have a party on a Friday or Saturday night is my other thing. Because we rented out the whole bowling alley and there was no way we could have done that on a Saturday. And I think, so there would have been other people there on a Saturday, but I don't know if that would have been a better choice. Or in general, to throw an epic party, you can't do it on a Sunday night.
You can't have people worrying about.
A lot of people gotta go somewhere.
They can't be worrying about their lives the next day.
Other than that, I'm very happy with it.
It was a great party. It was a really good party. I mean, Lionel Richie would have really sent it over the top. But
see, I'm fine with that joke. That doesn't hurt me because that wasn't part of my plan.
But he's not that responsive. He's just not that responsive.
Lionel is not responsive. Trust us.
Yeah, he's got his own thing.
Been begging to hear from Lionel.
He's got his Lionel thing and that's good.
You know, we've got ours.
Okay, we're gonna talk about getting old, but so stay tuned for that. First, we're gonna let you know about some stuff that you can buy.
Well, you can buy this Cotton Candy Randy t-shirt that I'm sporting, but we've got all types of Good Mythical summer stuff.
You take that.
We got the Good Mythical summer camp shirt that Rhett's about to hold up. We got the Dink It and Sink It shirt, brand new to the store. Go to mythical.star.
This is
I said the word got in there. Mythical got store.
Don't go there.
Is nothing.
Go to mythical.store. This is the Good Mythical summer camp t-shirt. Good Mythical summer camp is not something that actually exists yet. But we do have a t-shirt that captures the experience that one might have there. We've got the two of us around a campfire.
They can see, if they're looking at it, they can see it. They are looking at it.
Well, but what about, oh.
They can't see it. There you go.
Out here? Yes. See? I was holding it outside of the frame.
That's why you were describing it.
My new thing is to not give you the whole thing and then talk about it.
Okay, there it is. There we are. Now we don't have to describe what's happening because A, you already have, and B, they're looking at it.
Okay.
It's not an actual camp. It's just a shirt.
It's
a shirt for a
tee.
camp that doesn't exist.
A ring tee.
Here, take that one back too. Put that over the. Thanks for supporting entertainment and repping your team, which is Team Mythical Beast, through the summer.
I will say just one small, one additional thing that
I don't give a flying F what they say about turning 40. 40 is fabulous when you're fortunate enough to have friends like you.
That's good. That's good. You should have said that.
For reals.
The only thing that kept me from enjoying your party in the way that I would have liked to.
You can stop clapping now. You can, come on, we need to bowl. Just party. This is not about me. Just have fun. You know, it's not about me.
Is the fact that when I got into the party, like literally walked in, saw the food, saw the bowling lanes, was like, I'm gonna have such a good time.
Yeah.
I made up my mind that I wasn't gonna worry about the fact that the next day was Monday. I said, I don't care. F Monday is what I said. But then, my beautiful wife comes up to me and says, I left my phone in the Uber.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was like, oh gosh. Of course, I still have a phone, so now I'm responsible for handling this, and also.
So you got to solve this crisis instead of being in party mode.
We use my app, you know. So and also.
How does one get a phone back?
Great question. It's not as easy as one might think, especially when your driver does not speak English well.
Because you still had his number?
There was a communication, her number, Mr. Assumptions.
Oh.
So.
Thanks for calling me Mr. Assumptions. I kind of like it.
What did I do? Oh, you can click on help, click on I lost an item. Then it eventually puts you through to this number that calls them. But it doesn't show what their number is. I don't really understand. It's basically so that you can go through their system in the right way. They're supposed to get like a $15 reward back or whatever when they bring it back. But this Uber driver did not understand the system and did not really understand how that worked. And so when I got her on the phone, it took about 10 minutes to just explain that my phone is still in the car. My wife's phone is in the car because she was charging it with one of her dilly-dallies. And anyway, I got it back, but it took like an hour and a half. So like the first hour and a half of your party, I was kind of dealing with that and like having to go out into the lobby to be able to hear myself and hear the driver on the phone. And eventually she brought it back. And then when I went out, I had $16 cash. Now the thing said give $15 for a returned item. I had 16, that's all the cash I had on me. I was like, here's $16, that's all I got. And then she was like, 25.
Oh.
And she was holding the phone, captive.
You're not in a position to barter at this point. Well, you could barter, you give them a watch.
So I ran back in and just found the nearest friend.
Seriously?
Yeah, Ward and Annie were there. I was like, you guys got $10.
Yeah. You got Ward to give you $10?
Daddy needs $10. I told them why and they gave it to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I owe Annie $10, but.
Or do you? Whenever you go to give her that $10, she's gonna be like, $25.
She said, don't worry about it. Anyway, I got the phone back and started having a blast. Then I lost, actually, I did, okay.
You didn't lose the tournament. You got down to the last two teams.
Well, again.
And half of one of the teams had to have, had
so
abandoned my party.
My team was my wife and I, and Stevie and her girlfriend Cassie. And I ended up talking Tobias, of Buddy System fame, and he's also been in a lot of other stuff. Tobias, he came in and I was talking to him about, I was like, well, I'm definitely not gonna win. My team is Stevie and Cassie and Jesse and me, so I'm definitely not gonna win. But I didn't say, all I told him was like, well, I'm definitely not winning. So Tobias was talking to Stevie and they were talking about the tournament and he was like, all I know is Rhett said he's definitely not gonna win.
And Stevie was like.
Stevie and Cassie came up to me and they were like, oh, we heard what you were saying about your team. Well, we didn't win. But then one couple that was half of the 4-person team who made it to the finals had to leave early, and then Nick and Allison, and then Nick came up and was like, hey, you wanna be on my final team? And then Ben's girlfriend Jordan joined our team. So
I will point out, when you start recruiting people to your final team, championship team, you should have an advantage to win. Except when the person on the other team, one of the 4 guys, is Davin, who works for us, and he has professional bowling shoes.
He brings his own shoes. But I'll also say that I'm not really good at bowling, and neither is Jordan. We're just average, so we felt
they try to make it interesting.
It was like, okay, we're not gonna bring in like the best person here.
And and in the end, you lost by 6 pins. It came down to the last roll, which was pretty dramatic. Good way to end the party.
What are the chances that 4 people added up with 4 other people, it comes down to just 6 pins?
100%, I planned it that way.
Oh, good.
To end the party. In the days following the party, I felt the need to actively engage in reflection on my life and the 40ness of myself now. I have to admit, I felt in a little bit of a funk after the thing. It's kind of cliche, but I have kind of felt that way. I think obviously I'm a little too cerebral when it comes to my own party. I got things I got to work through. But then beyond that, you start to think, you got all these friends here, and on one hand, I'm blessed to be where I'm at and have all of these people that mean so much to me. And it's like, you start thinking weird things of like, but how much do they really mean to me? You start to think weird things, like kind of depressed thoughts.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know.
Interesting. I thought you were gonna say, I did not anticipate that was what you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say, you got all these friends together, they're for a party, but they're really just mourning the death of the prime of your life. Like, no, I can relate to that.
My point is, I'm seeing things that are totally unfounded, and it's at a point where I can be very grateful, and I'm typically very positive. I've been experiencing a little cloud of negative introspection and overanalyzation. So I'm on the backside of that now. And so now all I'm thinking about, because I've gotten through that, is just the sheer symptoms of getting older. And it's not just the graying of hair. I'm glad I made the decision to like let the gray hairs fly. It hasn't been a year yet, but look at my age a little bit. But the thing that's getting me is not the hair on my head, but the hair in other places. I've started to shave weird spots, man. Like I've got hair on my shoulders. Like I got this like weird little community on the right shoulder and the left shoulder. And because when I'm like brushing my teeth in the mirror, I'm like, what is that? A weird community up there. And I'm like, I'm shaving my face. I'm like, I'll just go down there, shave that off a little bit. Got a little one over here.
Should wax it.
Shave that one off over there.
Kill the follicle, man.
And I think this is common because in that song, Amanda, which there's a Don Williams version, there's a Waylon Jennings version. He says, he talks about, I look in the mirror in total surprise to see the hair on my shoulders and the age in my eyes. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, all right. Waylon and Don went through this. I'm in good company, I'll be okay. But then I start looking at my ears.
Oh, once you start, you just can't stop.
And I'm like, there's a community of hair on my ears. And I ain't even talking about in my ears. That's the common thing. I'm talking about the outer ridge, like right there on like the outer ridge in my ear, I got a community of hair growing right there. You see it? And so every few days I gotta hit that with a razor.
Yeah, a little thick.
It's hard not to nick your ear when shaving it with a razor, man.
You have to get an ear razor.
I feel like a kid who's just going through puberty and learning how to shave, but it's my ear. And also the inside. Like I have nose trimmers that I shove in my ears, and I've looked at you on Good Mythical Morning enough to know that you got a community coming out of your ears.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's gotta be there for a reason.
Oh, you want me to leave it? Just
no,
let
I'm
it
just
grow
saying
out?
that like there must be some survival benefit.
Like when you get so old.
There's a reason that old men have hair in other places. And I don't, and I just because I don't understand their survival benefit doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I don't wanna get rid of it because then I might die.
It must be, well, when you get older.
Who am I kidding? I also groom myself.
You can't hear as well when you get old. So I think it's your ears just closing themselves up with hair. It's like, we don't need these anymore. We can't, the frequency fidelity is gone, so let's just close up shop.
And I think you need some signs. You need to know. I think
know what?
You need some physical indications that you're getting old.
Well, that's one.
Little red flags.
I'm not done with the hair because.
Oh gosh. Yeah, your wife told me that you had some kind of egg.
What are you talking about, egg?
I don't know. She just told me that she walked in and you had some little like handheld like egg-shaped thing and you were running it over every part of your body.
Not an egg, a peanut. It's a clipper?
Yeah, a peanut.
There's a certain type of clippers, like hair clippers that zzz, you give someone a buzz cut with. Well, there's a smaller version made by Wall with an H, not a sponsor, called the Peanut. It's a smaller clippers that all of the hairdressers have. And it's just like, it's easier for grooming. Like your body hair.
Because it fits in weird places? Shave your peanuts with it? Because
it's smaller, yeah. So yeah, I've been using that, and yeah, I for 2 years now, I'm loud and proud that I trim all body hair. Like my leg hair, I keep that svelte. I trimmed off, but I wait so long. I trimmed off so much body hair, I stand in the shower, no water, just so I can then gather it up. I gathered up enough body hair that I peanutted off of myself. It was like the size of a human brain. It's like a hair
I'm sure
brain.
It could have been compressed into a mouse brain, probably.
Yeah, I did. I compressed it into the mouse brain and then I wrapped it in toilet paper and I put it in the, not the toilet, that's be a mistake. That's be a mistake. I put it in the trash can. But here's the last place that I've noticed hair that, gosh, if this is happening at 40, what's gonna happen at 50?
You quit caring at 50.
I've noticed hairs on my nose.
Oh yeah, the tip of the nose hairs.
Like here, on the bridge, like not the bridge, but like just above the nostrils, right in the middle.
Like a troll.
Like a freaking troll.
Yeah.
And
troll
so
hairs.
I'm not shaving those. I am plucking those.
Yeah.
Now I pluck my eyebrows. I never got out of that since puberty. So now I'm like, the time of self-care is just like, it's just blooming, man. The time
what
it
else
takes
do you have to
the
do?
time it takes to get all the hair off my body. Like I'm freaking plucking hairs off the top of my nose.
It gives you purpose, man. That's the thing.
It's just,
as you get older, you start, this is the thing that I've been contemplating.
And hold on, some of them are black. You think they're just little white hairs? No, I have a few that are actually black. What on earth? It's like the hairs on my head are turning white.
There's a reason. There's probably some sort of sensitivity, like when you get close to things as an old person, you need to know that you're getting close to a wall and the hairs on your nose touch it first and you stop short before you die.
Whiskers.
As I've been 40 for months now.
You're killing it too.
I'm so much more conscious of age. So
yeah.
you know how like when you've got, like when you're thinking about getting a new car and then you start seeing that car everywhere.
Yeah.
Or you start thinking that you've got some sort of, we got a friend who was losing his hair and he was like, I'm thinking about it. So I look at everyone's hair to see how much hair they've got.
I'm gonna start looking at people's noses.
I never thought about age in the way that I've been thinking about it lately. And I think part of it is this little question that I can't escape, and that's, are my best years behind me? And I know that that's a very cliche thing, but I especially, and I'm a futurist. That's my disposition. I'm always thinking about what the next thing is, and I've always firmly believed that my best work is ahead of me, right? And I still feel that about what we do, right? So I still have every reason to believe that the most significant thing we're going to create is something we have yet to create.
And even if that's utterly false, it's very important to believe it.
Right. But then I begin.
It's very healthy to believe it.
But then I know that at some point it will become irrational to believe that, right? Okay, at some point,
yeah,
it becomes unlikely that the thing that is gonna be the greatest thing you've ever created is ahead of you. I still feel like it's rational at this point, but then I start thinking, well, maybe it's not. You know, and again, this is a pretty selfish thing because your life is not boiled down to these things that you create for your own self-glorification. I'm aware of that, and I'm aware of the you know, the what is the word I'm looking for?
The psychology behind your statement, you mean?
Just the fact that this is not a healthy way to think about things necessarily. But that's the thing I've been thinking about lately is like you start noticing, oh, that guy's younger than me. It's like, why am I thinking that? You know, when you start, we talked about this before, how I spent most of my life like thinking like NBA players are older than me. And even when you become older than the average NBA player, you still see them as older because you see them as
that's
these
the mode with which
athletes.
You've always watched them.
But now I definitely feel older than them. And I just find myself thinking about age and then also thinking about like, oh, I'm 40. And then I start thinking, man, as soon as the summer's over, there's like a couple of months and then I'm 41. And that happens so quickly. And that's 1 year out of 10. And then that's gonna happen a few more times. And then
like
I'm 50.
Footlights when he's like, I'm 41 years old and I ain't got no place to go when it's over, you know? Great song, by the way. And I do take comfort in the fact that it's one of Merle's best albums, Serving 90 Proof. He's 41 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've talked about that. For me, I try to adopt, I'm staying with country music lyrics for some reason. And I'll stick with Waylon here. You know, in the song Waymore's Blues, he says, I got my name painted on my shirt. I'm no ordinary dude, I ain't got to work. You know, it just puts it in perspective that like, the song is a blues song and he's like, I mean, he's acknowledging his age, especially when you pair it with like the song I mentioned earlier about the hair on your shoulders and dealing with that. But like, the dude is living life, still wearing, you know, it's, in Amanda he says, I'm crowding 30, and then the lyrics in some versions are also, now I've turned 40 and I'm still wearing jeans. You know, it's like, I'm still a kid at heart. I'm still living this dream life where I've got my own freaking logo on my shirt, is what Waylon was singing. Yeah. You know, it's like, I ain't got nothing to complain about, even though I may be over the hill. You know, it's like few people can walk around in jeans in their own merch proudly.
Right.
So I think that's kind of how I try to, that's the perspective I try to adopt, is just one of being grateful for what we've got and for what we've already accomplished, even if that's it. But it's not healthy just to rest on your laurels. So I do think it's good for us to believe our best work is ahead of us, but at some point you just retire and spearfish.
Well, that's another thing is, I mean, obviously retirement is nowhere in sight, and
no.
But I'm reading a book, and the main character is recently retired, and he just sits and watches television in the afternoon, like watches like Judge Judy and Dr. Phil, and his life has become that. But then something happens that then kind of re-engages him in what his career was. And
is this a Stephen King book?
Yeah, it's the first. It's the first in the Mercedes Killer trilogy, which I don't know if that's the name of it, but I can't remember the name of the book. But it's that Mercedes Killer trilogy.
Okay.
And you know, and this guy's 62 in the book, and I think about how he didn't have anything. So you mentioned spearfishing. I feel the need to begin to introduce, and again, we have some things that we do, like what but at least one of them is something that is gonna be difficult to do as you get older. Like, I mean, the whole paddleboarding thing is, or at least paddle surfing in the way that we do. I mean, as much as you've alone been injured in the process of the few times that we've been, at 60, you're probably not gonna wanna be willing, you're not gonna be willing to deal with whatever the physical repercussions of getting hurt are.
Is that why you're getting into golf?
Well, it is one reason.
Back into
golf. I'm getting back into golf because my dad's coming into town and I wanna play with him, and I also wanna get the boys into it, and especially Shepard, because he didn't really have anything that he's, sports-wise that he's really into.
You can make a lot of money off a kid playing golf, I hear.
Too late. You got to start them when they're like 1. But so anyway.
But you've thought of it.
Yeah. But this the idea of, I heard Joe Rogan say one time that everybody needs, you got to have something that you wake up to do. And right now we got.
And I don't. That sounds good as a general statement. I think it probably is more true of some people than other people. So, but in general, I do think that's true of us. Well, I think that's true.
I would say most people need something to wake up and do.
In one form or another. Yeah.
I mean, but that could be read the paper. I'm just saying that, like, once you stop having something to wake up and do, and so that's when I start getting really self-conscious about like what we've created. I mean, of course, we have I think we've talked about this. Maybe we haven't, but we have a chip on our shoulder in some regards when it comes to our work and what we've done, because everything that we've done is kind of lived under this in the world of YouTube. And this is probably an unreasonable thing to think, but there is a certain connotation that comes along with the word YouTuber and the stuff that YouTubers do. And it's because it's such a broad category and it's something that anybody can do. When we talk to people in the industry about some other ideas that we have that may transcend YouTube and may be something like a TV show or a movie or something like that, even though there's not really that much of a distinction anymore between these different medias. For instance, Buddy System was not even reviewed. No, not one critic wrote a review of Buddy System. Nobody cared about our show on YouTube Red because nobody cared about YouTube Red at the time.
I cared.
And so there's this chip on our shoulder that we want to create something that people can't help but encounter, even if they hate it. But people have to encounter it and have to talk about it. But then I start thinking, okay, but at what point am I too old to be able to create that and to be able to get people to care about it? Because I start thinking, well, people don't really know that we're 40. That's the best thing we've got going for us, is they still see us as these, like, I don't know how old they are, but those guys from YouTube, they seem young and they're on YouTube, so they must be young. Mm-hmm. But hold on, but the one with glasses, he's got gray hair. And so you start second guessing. I think that's what I've been dealing with. And again, I recognize that this is not a healthy way to think, because the other thing that I'm trying to do, just like personally, is get to a place where I don't care about what people think, and I don't care about, and I don't evaluate myself through the lens of what people think about my accomplishments.
Or creating something that then you're satisfied that it now defines you, in a way that you want to be defined. I'm definitely thinking more about it. I think when I mentioned earlier that, like, I just felt like I've been in, I guess you can call it a depression, like if it's like a few days stint, like for the past week or so. The one missing piece of the puzzle, which certainly is a huge factor in all this, was I had to fly home right before the party. The 2 days leading up to the party, I had a shocking death in the family. My uncle passed away. It was a tragic accident on his farm. It was utterly shocking to our entire family. So like, we all flew home for that. He was 69 years old. He was retired. You know, he was doing what he loved. I mean, it's not a joke, but he died doing what he loved. He was on his tractor, on his own land that his grandparents farmed, his parents farmed, he farmed, and his son farms.
And he also made the
that's
decision,
how he went out.
He made the decision to stop doing he could have kept working at his other job.
Sure.
But he made a decision because he wanted to farm. So that was why he got up every day.
But it was certainly an untimely and shocking end to his life. You know, I thought we were gonna have to cancel the party because we were gonna be there for the family and then get back whenever it made sense, and then it worked out, but it was literally, we flew back in that morning and then at night we're having the party. So I think the day after the party and the day since, it's like all those things together for me have, when you talk, have led to a lot of introspection and reflection. I think that we talk about being over the hill, but there's an underlying assumption. If you listen to a lot of what we said in this whole conversation, it's just assumption that, what's the average age? Because I'm gonna beat that, or I'm at least gonna hit that, I'm gonna live to 79. And then it's, there's of course no guarantee that that's gonna happen. And so it's, I think that I certainly don't think about, and it would drive me nuts if I woke up every morning and thought this could be my last. There was the guy, the old guy with the beard who worked on like the pyrotechnic stuff for GMM, like when we did the fireball and stuff. He had that catchphrase when we'd see him, and we'd be like, "Hey man, glad to see you again." I can't remember his name, and he would always say,
"I woke up alive.
Now it's up to me."
Yeah.
It's like, I woke up alive. Now it's up to me. So it's like.
And that and not just, maybe he is a pyrotechnician. Maybe he's had some close calls, but he's also an older guy.
Yeah, he could, dude looked in his 70s.
He could be that old, yeah.
But I guess he adopted this mantra. You think it's a healthy mantra? Maybe it is when you're that age. Like at 40 years old, I don't wanna wake up every morning and say, this could be my last day, because I think that would freaking wig me out. But I think there's gotta be a way for some of that perspective to influence kind of what you're saying about being so focused on what is it we're gonna create that's gonna provide legitimacy, or what, I don't
know
admittedly
what the
it's not
balance
healthy.
Is. Well, because the thing that I struggle with is this is like the thing that I think about all the time is, I know that one of my many personality defects is just how much I want to accomplish, right? I mean, for those of you who know the Enneagram, I'm a 3 on the Enneagram, which is an achiever, and it basically means that I'm hyper competitive. Anybody who's watched the show knows that. I want to win. I want to be the best. I want to create things that people notice. And while that's been helpful,
and then be commended for it.
And
right?
That's how I want. Basically, it's how do you want to be loved? Mm-hmm. And so the way that I want to be loved is by people loving the things that I create. And so I'll get uncomfortable if you start talking directly about me. I'd rather you talk about something that I created. So but the struggle is that I'm like, okay, I don't want to care about accomplishing things, but if I don't care, I won't accomplish anything. So I kind of get on this in this loop because I'm like, yeah, I guess there is some state of contentment that like like a monk somewhere has, where they're like, my work is this simple, repetitive thing that I do, and the whole point in being a monk is to kind of take away the things that distinguish you as yourself, That's why you shave your head, and that's why you wear the same thing that everybody does. That's why you do the same thing that everybody does. That's why there's no hierarchy. You're not like he's the head monk. It's like everybody becomes equal and you kind of fade into humanity. And I know that that's healthy in a lot of ways, but it also scares the crap out of me. So I think about like
you really don't look great with a shaved head.
And we couldn't have a beard probably too. It'd be horrible. That's the main reason I'm not a monk. But
the hood, the big hoods.
But just simultaneously looking to the future and being like, there's so many things that I want to see us accomplish, and to me, it's not about losing the desire to accomplish those things. It's losing the false belief that I'm gonna find some kind of purpose or ultimate satisfaction in those things going well. Because we have had a lot of success. We've had a lot of things go well. And we know, just like we talked about in the book of Mythicality, in the Stop and Celebrate chapter, that our MO is to accomplish something and then immediately move on to the next thing without stopping and really appreciating it. So I know that if we are able to make a film, or we're able to make a show that that critics care about, I can anticipate what that feeling is gonna be. I know that there's not true satisfaction in that, but if I can just enjoy the process, which is something that I do enjoy, the creative process is like, that's what we're made to do. I find an incredible satisfaction, not just in the results, but in the process. I don't know, those are just the things that are kind of running through my mind. And the thing that's complicating it is this age factor, is the fact that, now I've got this other thing I've got to contend with, which is the fact that
sand running out of the hourglass.
When am I gonna run out of time? When am I gonna become irrelevant because I seem too old? When is my mind not gonna be as sharp? When am I not gonna have that thing? All the best athletes in the world, even the best poker players in the world are young guns, right? You don't see some 45-year-old come in there and win the World Poker Tour. You see a 20-year-old do it. I know there are exceptions, but that's how you feel because what do they have? Did I have it and I lost it? Those are the things rattling around in my 40-year-old mind.
I'm trying to figure out how, for me as a perfectionist, as a personality type, how I'm interacting with getting older. Because I want things, whether it's a party or whatever it is, my life to be arranged in a certain way, and I think my uncle, I think he also might have been a one, just like me, a perfectionist, because he had his life arranged, and even his family life and his professional life and his hobby life, he had it all very arranged, and he was very methodical and calculated. Which, by the way, was why it was such a shock that he had an accident. Is totally against everything that you've ever observed from this guy. And I think he was living that, yet, boop, it was over. And was it worth it? Was it worth the, is that the goal for me? Is that what I'm trying to emulate, or is that something I'm trying to? I don't think so. I think it's something I'm trying to put in its place. The strengths / weaknesses of being, of thinking I know the best way for everything. Putting that in its place so that I can still live a full life, even when things don't meet my standard, which is probably, if it is attainable, you have to sacrifice enough things that it may not in general have been worth it. you know, in terms of like what that does to relationships or, you know, what it takes to get there, you know. So using the party again as an analogy, it's saying, I think I did pretty decent saying this was a milestone experience that I'm grateful that Christy and you encouraged us to have the freaking party and not say, well, because it can't be the absolute perfect thing, then I'm not gonna do it. That would have been a horrible mistake, right? And I think that's kind of a microcosm of what I'm trying to do with my life by putting those aspects of my personality in their place so that I can experience the imperfections of life and see beauty in that and experience that. And love.
And love, throw love in there.
Yeah, just throw love in there.
The last thing I'll say, which I think is, I don't know if it's a generational thing. I think
we're the same generation, by the way, so it's not. Don't start treating me like a child.
We're whatever, but is between. There's a very small generation that's between Generation X and Millennials. Mm-hmm. The Zennials, is that what it's called? I think we're Zennials.
Perennials.
It's like 77 to 83.
Okay.
Again, this is just stuff reporters make up, so take it with a grain of salt. But the thing I've been, I think is typical of most generations before ours, and maybe it still is, I don't know, is that you tend to get a little calcified in your views, right? You get to a certain point and you're kind of like, I'm kind of done changing the way I think about things. So far in my life, the way that I view the world has gone through very drastic upheavals and changes, and you know, I'm less certain about a whole host of things than I ever was when I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
When I was 20, I had just a very particular understanding of so many things. And I was so sure that I was right. I mean, it was just like, I remember sitting around and actually having the thought of like, I pretty much think I know the right thing about the most important things.
Yeah, I was there for that.
You know, I was like, I think I understand the basics of the most important truths of the universe. Mm-hmm. That's a very fortunate position to be in. I said to myself, I did not actually say this out loud, but I remember like having thoughts like that. And then over the past 20 years, I look back at that 20-year-old and I'm like, what an idiot, you know? I mean, now I was.
Let's not even keep it in the 20s because you know, I'll say it's something that it's part of both of our experiences. It's not something that just, you know, shortly after that we checked out of. It's been quite a process. Between 20 and 40.
It continues to this day. I mean, and that's a weird place to be, to feel like you are entering into your 40s. Now, there is a lot of stability. There's a lot of stability in my life. You know, with even the sort of the unpredictable nature of what we do as a career, there's a lot of stability in what we've kind of built up, and that stability has increased exponentially just in the past 5 years in a way that it did not. There was a lot of uncertainty. There's still a whole lot of uncertainty, but there's a reasonable certainty that we're gonna be okay. We don't know exactly what our job is going to look like 5 years from now, but probably gonna be okay. Yeah. Probably not gonna be like thumbing down the road, you know what I mean?
Unless it makes for a good video or
as a character. But I've never been less certain about a lot of different things and more open to like different people's perspectives, and like can hear somebody say something and be like, that's a good point. That's a good point as well. It's just difficult to parse. And I think that is, in some ways, that is just I think that this next generation, like our kids, are growing up in the midst of that. We kind of grew up in a place where you were not exposed to anything that challenged your worldview. And it was very tight and it was very tidy. And then we were kind of this generation that got introduced through the internet to all kinds of different thoughts about different things, and it began to kind of change the way we thought about that foundation. But I think that our children—
which made our initial reaction to it something that was more about maintaining the tidiness in the face of the internet, basically.
Batten down the hatches.
Whereas our kids,
there are no hatches.
When you grow up in an environment where there's no way to not be exposed to almost everything on earth just by virtue of the internet. As much as you put up healthy boundaries and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. It's a different world. Oh, we sound old. But it's what are you getting at? Maybe you're getting at—
I'm just saying it's another observation I made about myself.
The one thing that we can have that 20-year-old poker player can't have is wisdom. Now, you don't automatically have it. And I'm not saying that we have it, but I aspire to that. And that is something that is the advantage that old farts can have. Right?
Yeah, and I'm also trying to fight I'm trying to fight cynicism actively, I hear
playing Fortnite.
I hear Locke talk about the latest Lil rapper. There's these Lil rappers. Everybody's got Lil in front of their name. And I find myself just talking to him about how ridiculous this whole thing is. And it probably is ridiculous on some degree, but this is coming from a man who has regularly eaten animal testicles for entertainment on the internet. So I'm a little ridiculous myself. Lil Ridiculous is my rap name. But yeah, again, I don't have a conclusion. I don't have a landing place for this. It's just—
we'll have to end it somehow.
There are multiple things happening. There's the internal struggle with like trying to not be defined by my accomplishments, but being fearful that I've yet to accomplish, that maybe I've accomplished the greatest thing I'm ever going to accomplish. This less certain than I've ever been, and then wanting to fight against cynicism and just beginning to say things like, sometimes you have to be like, you're literally saying this generation of kids. Like, just don't use that terminology. Don't get to a place where you use the term this generation of children or this generation of teenagers and then say something negative because that generation of teenagers and the way that they think differently and the things that, that frustrate us are gonna be the things that most likely the positive things that define the world. It's the way it happens, man. And it's happening quicker than ever. More quickly, grammar Nazis.
So now what?
I think we just die now.
Just curl up.
I think we do everything we can to make it to 79.74. And then we die.
Buck Owens died in his sleep. Good for him. He finished a concert in the Crystal Palace that he built in Bakersfield. And then he went back to his house and died in his sleep. But there's no guarantees. I just wanted to tie in another country music. It's like, it seems like country music is my religion in this episode, so I just wanted to tie a bow on that. But thanks for listening in on this therapy session. I feel okay. I always feel like in retrospect, like looking at what we've discussed in this episode, I do feel the need as we're shutting this thing down to just say, I don't think you need to worry about me. You know, it's like I use the term.
You need to worry about me.
I think we've been very honest about what we're doing, but you know, and I want to be sensitive in throwing around the term depression, which I know I said that a few times, but experiencing depression. I don't know what I want to say about it except that, what do you think I should say about it? I just don't want people to worry about me in that way specifically because
you are not.
I'm not actively struggling with clinical depression.
But many people are.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we haven't. I mean, we did what we always do. We started talking about something, not knowing where it's going to go. I think ultimately what you're saying is that we're just processing these things. It's like
And I don't think there's anything wrong. I'm not going to apologize for being sad, obviously. We're not trying to be an example, but in retrospect, if we were an example with anything, I hope is that we're talking openly and honestly with each other. You just happen to be listening at a certain point. I think that's what happened in this episode. And there
is a podcast that Jesse's begun listening to that is a therapist and her patients, and they let you listen in on the sessions.
Really?
And I don't, obviously all the confidentiality stuff is taken care of, but.
Well, this is as close as we're gonna get to that. So thanks for listening in, and we'll talk at you next week.
Yes. To hear this Ear Biscuit in its entirety and make sure you don't miss an episode, follow the links in the description to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else podcasts are available.
To watch more Ear Biscuits, click on the playlist on the right.
To watch more of our daily show, Good Mythical Morning, click the playlist on the left.
And don't forget to click the circular icon to subscribe.
Thanks for being your mythical best.